Welcome in, everybody. We're diving deep today into AI and graphic design. Someone shared a blog post with me. AI no design gráfico. Ferramentas para elevar sua creatividad.
Oh, interesting.
And it really got me thinking about ChatGPT and similar tools and how they could, totally change things up for designers.
Yeah. It does feel like there's a real buzz around AI in the design world right now.
Totally. And, the author is Steve Jr. They seem like they really know their stuff. Just from looking at some of their other work, it's obvious they've got this deep understanding of AI and how it's impacting all kinds of fields. But for this deep dive, we're zeroing in on what this means for graphic designers specifically.
Okay, love it.
So this blog post really digs into how AI can help designers generate visuals, even write more compelling copy. And it can help streamline all those, kind of annoying technical tasks.
Right, the stuff that can really bog you down.
Totally. Can you imagine having AI suggest color palettes perfectly tailored to your vision, or picture a virtual assistant who keeps your projects running on schedule? That would be amazing.
It would be pretty incredible. Yeah, the possibilities are really exciting when you think about how these tools could help designers work smarter.
So true. And one thing that really grabbed my attention was how ChatGPT can be used for brainstorming.
Okay.
Instead of staring at a blank page, you can ask ChatGPT for suggestions for different visual styles or color combos, even specific references, all tailored to whatever project you're working on.
It's almost like having an endless pool of inspiration, right?
Right.
And I think that's what's so interesting about this, is that it can really help designers think outside the box, by seeing all these different ideas and styles, ChatGPT could help you break through creative blocks and explore new territory.
And this blog post gives a perfect example.
Oh.
Okay, so you could literally ask ChatGPT, suggest 5 modern visual styles for a promotional flyer for a coffee shop.
Okay, I like it.
Right, that would save so much time.
Yeah.
Especially when you're at the beginning of a project and still figuring things out.
And it's not about replacing your own ideas with what the AI comes up with. Think of it more as a jump start.
Yeah.
A way to get your creative juices flowing.
The real magic happens when you take those AI suggestions and then blend them with your own personal style and experience.
Exactly. Which brings up another cool point from the blog post. We're talking about words now. Copywriting.
Ah, yes. So important.
We all know good copy is crucial in design. But sometimes it's hard to find just the right words.
So true.
But ChatGPT can help you write headlines, slogans, body copy even, all fine-tuned to resonate with your target audience. I'm really fascinated by how AI can help designers better understand their audience. If ChatGPT analyzes demographic data and trends, it could suggest language that really connects with the people you're trying to reach.
I love that. So smart. I was messing around with the ChatGPT earlier, and I asked it, write a fun, short slogan for a brand of artisanal ice cream.
Let's hear it.
And the suggestions were honestly pretty impressive. I could totally see how this tool would be so valuable, especially for designers who aren't natural copywriters.
Yeah. And the key is it helps you create more targeted and effective messaging, which ultimately makes your designs even stronger.
Exactly. Oh, and speaking of things that can be tricky, the technical side of design, formatting files, exporting for different mediums, managing timelines. Such a headache sometimes.
I hear you. A lot of moving parts.
This blog post really got me thinking about ChatGPT as a virtual tech assistant.
Yeah, that's where I see a lot of potential. Using AI to take care of those repetitive, time-consuming tasks that can drain your energy.
Yes.
Imagine asking ChatGPT, what are the ideal formats for exporting a design file for offset printing? Boom, instant answer. No more scouring online forums.
Seriously, that would be life-changing. Less stress, more time to focus on the creative stuff.
Exactly. Freeing of designers to do what they do best.
So we've talked about brainstorming, copywriting, even tech support. Is there anything this magical AI tool can't do?
Well, I think it's important to remember AI is a tool. And like any tool, how effective it is depends on the skill and intention of the person using it.
Right.
ChatGPT has amazing potential, but it's not a substitute for human creativity, critical thinking, and problem solving.
Such a good point. We need to be mindful of the limitations of AI and make sure we're using these tools responsibly and ethically. But I have to say, I'm pretty excited about the possibilities here.
Me too. This blog post has definitely given us a lot to think about. I'm really intrigued by the idea of AI as a collaborative partner. like helping designers push their creative boundaries and reach new levels of excellence.
So what's next on our deep dive? Where do we go from here?
Well, we've seen how AI can be used across different parts of the design process. Now I think we should explore how designers can actually integrate these tools into their workflow.
Okay, I like it.
Like, what are the practical steps? And what are some best practices for using AI effectively and responsibly?
Sounds like a plan. I'm ready to dive deeper into the nuts and bolts of actually using AI in design.
Great. Let's explore how you can start incorporating these powerful tools into your own creative process. All right, so let's get practical. How can designers actually start using these AI tools in their projects?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? You're talking about all these cool possibilities, but I want to see how it all works in the real world.
For sure. Well, one of the most practical ways to start is using AI for inspiration, like for generating ideas.
Okay.
Remember how you mentioned asking ChatGPT to describe a logo concept that represents modernity and sustainability?
Yeah. For that eco-friendly clothing brand we talked about,
Yeah.
I bet ChatGPT could come up with some really cool ideas. Stuff I wouldn't have even thought of.
Exactly. It's like having a brainstorming partner who's analyzed like thousands of successful logos.
Right.
And you can even make it more specific. Like you could add to your prompt, the target audience is young urban professionals who care about style and the environment.
So the more info you give the AI, the better the suggestions will be.
Exactly. It's all about learning to communicate effectively with the AI.
It's like you're briefing a human collaborator.
I like that. And just like with any collaboration, you need to be clear about your goals and expectations. Remember, AI is a tool to help you, not to make decisions for you.
And once you have those initial concepts from the AI, you can refine them, add your own style.
It's a real partnership between human and machine.
Totally. The AI gives you a starting point, but it's the designer who brings the vision and understanding of the audience.
Absolutely. It's the designer who translates those ideas into a visual language.
So it reminds me of something else we talked about, creating presentations.
Yeah.
You mentioned how ChatGPT could help explain design choices to clients who maybe don't have a design background.
Yeah, that's a big one. Instead of struggling to find the right words, you could ask ChatGPT to help you explain it clearly.
Like, could I say create a script for explaining this flyer design to a non-technical audience?
Exactly.
That would be amazing. I always worry about getting too technical with clients and losing them in the jargon.
And that's where AI shines. It can take those complex ideas and make them easy to understand for anyone.
Like having a built-in communication expert.
Totally. It helps bridge the gap between your vision and what the client understands.
And it frees you up to focus on the design itself instead of stressing about how to explain it. But what about the more technical stuff? Like if I'm prepping a file for printing, can ChatGPT really help with that?
Absolutely. Like say you need specific file formats for printing. You could just ask ChatGPT, what are the ideal formats for exporting a design file for offset printing?
Okay.
And boom, you have your answer. No more searching online or digging through manuals.
Wow, that would save so much time, especially when you're on a tight deadline.
Right. And it's not just about finding answers. ChatGPT can even help with project management. Like imagine asking, how do I plan a schedule for creating a company's visual identity in 2 weeks?
And it would give you like a step-by-step plan.
A detailed breakdown of tasks and timelines.
That would be so helpful for staying organized, especially for big projects with lots of moving parts.
It's like having a virtual project manager keeping everything on track. By taking care of those logistical things, AI frees up designers to focus on the creative stuff.
This all sounds so promising. But are there any downsides to relying on AI so much? Does the blog post mention anything about that?
It does talk about using these tools responsibly and ethically, and I think that's a conversation worth having. We need to be aware of the limitations of AI and not just blindly follow its suggestions.
So it's not just about using the technology, it's about using it in the right way.
It's about finding that balance. We want to use AI to make us more creative and productive, but we also want to make sure we're still using our own skills and judgment.
Makes sense. This deep dive has really opened my eyes to how AI is changing graphic design. It's really exciting to think about.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be a designer. I think AI has the potential to totally change how we work and create.
So where do we go from here? What's next in exploring this whole AI-powered design future?
Well, we've seen how AI can be used in the design process, and we've touched on using it responsibly. But I think it's important to think about the bigger picture, too.
Okay.
Like, how will this affect the design industry as a whole? What new opportunities and challenges will it create?
Those are some big questions. I'm really curious to explore those ideas.
Let's dive into those bigger implications and see what the future holds for designers in this new world of technology.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about how designers can actually use AI to level up their design process. But zooming out a bit, what does this mean for the design field as a whole?
Right. Yeah, that's a big question, isn't it? As these AI tools get even more advanced, how is it going to change the landscape of design?
Yeah, exactly. I think some people might be worried AI is going to replace designers altogether eventually.
It's definitely a concern, and one that we should be talking about. But while AI can automate certain tasks, I think it's more likely to change the role of the designer rather than make them obsolete.
So instead of replacing designers, it'll actually make them even more important.
Yeah, I think so. Like, think about it this way. AI can handle those repetitive tasks that we get bogged down with.
Mhm.
The things that take up so much time.
Right. Yeah.
And that frees up designers to think more strategically and creatively.
So instead of spending hours picking the perfect font or color palette, designers can focus on understanding the client and coming up with innovative concepts.
Exactly. AI can boost your efficiency and productivity for sure, but it's the human element that brings meaning and emotion to design.
I'm starting to see AI not as a threat, but as a new opportunity. Like it could push designers to be even more creative.
Right. And as the technology gets better, we'll probably see even more collaboration between designers and AI.
It'll be like a partnership.
Exactly. A symbiotic relationship.
I love that.
Yeah.
This is all super exciting, but it also feels like there's a lot to learn. What advice would you give to designers who are just starting to explore AI?
I think the best thing is to just be curious, and experiment. Don't be afraid to try things out and see what works. AI is a tool, and like any tool, it takes time to master it.
So it's all about learning by doing and figuring out how to use these tools in your own way.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, design is all about constantly learning and evolving. So as AI changes, designers need to adapt with it.
This deep dive has been amazing. We've talked about using AI in the design process, its impact on the profession, and even the ethical side of things.
And we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much potential here, and it's up to us to shape the future of design in a positive way.
I couldn't agree more. I feel so inspired, and I can't wait to see all the incredible things designers will create with the help of AI.
It's an exciting time to be a designer.
This has been such a fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us.
It's been my pleasure. I love talking about this stuff.
And to everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity about AI and graphic design. Keep creating, keep exploring, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.